the planter.
Uh,
Oh, it says okay. Yeah, we were just trying to fill the planter. We didn't have enough soil, so like we did a bunch of sticks and um plant leaves and stuff like that, and then compost soil on top of that. So
no,
we'll
that's
see how
perfect.
yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Because
But
who has that much soil? Like
yeah,
it's a
it
lot of
was
soil.
we went and bought a bunch of bags of it, and we were like, well, I don't want to go spend another $100 on soil. So we like
Yeah.
yeah, we made it work. But hello everybody. I don't know if there's anybody here right now, but we are live with Seth Terramane for episode 41 of Networking with Nathaniel. Seth and I are both growth coers. You were
Yeah, I think I was in cohort two. Yeah.
cohort two, and I was in cohort four. Ours just finished a few weeks ago. They're already on to five. They're changing lives over there. But
Yeah.
Seth and I have frequented the same Zooms at this point, and have never actually talked before. We've only chatted in the Zooms and kind of in the different chat groups that we're in. So I'm looking forward to having this conversation with him. He's a really cool guy. He's got a organic farm. Actually, before we get to the organic farm, let's talk about he's a married man. So ladies out there, he's taken. He's got two lovely kids that we were chatting about a little bit before going live here. And then, like I started to tease here, he's an organic farmer for a community that feeds, I think you mentioned like 70 to 75 people, depending on the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's a real estate investor too. That's why we kind of connected in the first place, but we're going to connect further on the farming side because that's something that, we're just starting out as little
We were just
homesteaders.
talking
But
about growing, so that's
yeah,
good.
that was it. That's how we led into this. So I appreciate you being here, brother. How you doing today?
I am absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
Nice.
Great day. I'm out in some people know, but I'm in Vermont. And so right now it is a perfect like 76-degree day. Sun's out,
Yeah,
farming's going, so it's really great. Yeah.
very nice. It's nice here, but it's probably like 85 and sweaty. But yeah, stay
Actually,
inside.
Nathaniel, I don't know where you are. Where are you?
Oh, I'm in South Carolina. We're right on the border of
Oh,
Georgia and South Carolina. Yeah.
you could grow forever. That
Oh
is such
yeah.
a great spot. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just like getting the hang of it, but
I know some
I
farmers down there who grow for all year round, right? It's way different than in Vermont where we only have like a growing season of, you know, 6 months or 7 months or something, if you
yeah,
want.
here if you know what to plant when, you can go year round. We just
You'll get there.
yeah, we're keeping busy with a lot of other things right now. Like I'm focused on the tomato, like can we get tomatoes?
Perfect. Yeah,
And we
yeah.
got like there's peaches. I'm checking them every day. No, that
Oh,
doesn't feel right yet. It's
that
not
is
right
so
yet.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I know South Carolina grows a lot of peaches, so we've just added
South
to the
Carolina peaches. Oh, I
yeah,
didn't think of that. I love that.
yeah.
We have pears and we have apple trees in our little orchard. And so,
Okay.
and like a tart cherry tree uh,
Oh,
that we never get cherries out of because the birds love them, but that's fine. It's a beautiful tree.
ecosystem.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I
Well,
had, I had a, I had a friend once who told me that anytime animals are stealing like food or whatever out of your fields or whatever, he just called that the nature tax, right? Because
that's
you're
it.
yeah
Yeah.
you're in the nature, so there's
Yeah.
some of it. Yeah,
God's making sure that the trees are growing strong so all the animals can get them. And then if there's anything left, then you get them.
then it's fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, what I kind of want you to take this in the direction that you want to go. Like, I know that the farm is a big part of your life. You've been doing this for over a decade now, but we connected because of real estate, and I know that that's a big part of your life as well. So, what's keeping you busy during the day, and what are you kind of finding the most passion in?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's been a question really for the last couple of years. Like, and I wouldn't say like maybe with intention, right? I've
Mm.
had that question. I think everybody has that question, throughout their lives. But what am I passionate about? What I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
But for me, like my path has not been a linear path, right? And so what has led me to being a real estate investor and a farmer has been sort of a longer road for me anyway. And so like I started out my background's in creative writing. I
Hmm.
know I'm a trained poet if you want to think of it that way. And then I was teaching literature at the college level, and then didn't go on for my PhD, went into medicine, realized that medicine wasn't for me right before I was about to go into med school. Entered into farming, right?
Yeah.
And so I've been doing farming for the last 10 years, and that's sort of been the passion, really connecting with community, connecting with the ground, connecting with earth, all that nature stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, and so what's really cool is I'm not sure it's only in hindsight, right? And this actually comes straight out of a book called The Gap and the Gain, which I absolutely love.
I just started
Um,
it.
oh God, please finish. It's
Yeah.
such a good book.
Yeah.
It truly changed how I thought about certain things, very specifically about looking backwards rather than looking forwards and
Hmm.
measuring where you are in your life.
Yeah.
Huge, right? And so um, it's only now that looking backwards can I see the thread that connects what I call a non-linear path to where I'm going, right?
Huh.
And a narrowing of that focus
Yeah.
into like um, figuring out very specifically what my core values are and how that really plays into what you just asked me about in terms of like passion.
Yeah.
And um, so I will say that at this point right now in my real estate journey, in farming too, but really I'm focused on where I'm going in the real estate business. But um, that focus is really about service. And so this is a new thing, not a new thing, but a newly discovered thing, I would say, that seems to be a connection through the path, right? Which is this idea of service to other people and how I want my business to run. And so I am just absolutely passionate about this, like helping other people get into their um, get into their groove, figure out what their passions are, figure out how they can get, moving on their passion. This has been a big deal for me because when I've been in real estate for a while now, 2016, 17,
Okay.
we bought our first triplex and wrote a love letter in order to get it. I don't know if nobody ever uses those anymore, but
No,
we wrote a love letter and we got our offer accepted, even though it wasn't the best offer.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was so good, and we were so excited. Uh, had so many mistakes. We can definitely talk about that. So many mistakes that went into that, but we ran it through COVID and we sold it afterwards, and that actually gave us the seed money to start the farm that we're on now. So, but yeah, so I've been in that. And when I joined Sub 2 in last year, back in 2023, uh, yeah, sometime I always forget, February, March. Um, that's when it started to really click for
Mm.
intention and um, figuring out what I really want to do with my life. I mean, I'm older, I'm 44, and so it's like trying
So old.
yeah, well, I mean, like I have an accountability group partner, right? Daniel, if you're out there, I love you. He's 22 years old, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
he's killing it. His
Yeah.
business is awesome, right? Super smart, knows what he's doing. I definitely wasn't there at 22, so it's like, uh, so yeah, that's all I meant by that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, um I'm now sort of on this path that started back in 2023 with this intention, mindset shifts, really sort of figuring out how I want to approach things, how I want to get to things, how I want to do things.
Mm.
Um,
I
and so,
gotta, I'm gonna pause you there one sec, Seth, because I want to make sure that I give you my full attention here. And currently, the Zoom is set, or the is telling me it's set to private. I'm like, where the chat at? There's people here.
uh-oh.
Man, I don't know how to change that. So public. It says public. This is gonna be a fun line. Are we live now? I mean, are we? Yeah.
Is
Okay.
somebody watching you?
Yeah, this is great. It says there's a couple people watching, but for anybody out there listening, I don't know what the heck's going on, but I don't want to pause it any longer than we already have. So yeah, sorry if you're trying to ask Seth some questions here, but I cannot figure it out, and I'm not versed enough to do it. Are you watching it, Seth?
I just pulled it up. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're live. I can see us.
Yeah, it's just it's there. There's no chat. Oh no, there's chat.
I can see
Okay,
that.
I see Karen.
Karen Thrasher said, "You're live."
Sweet. Hey, okay. We're technical difficulties. Yeah, I'd like to. This is the service aspect is something that I've been kind of struggling about, struggling with as we made the pivot from going, from being direct to seller, wholesalers and buyers to just
Hmm.
being buyers, and we're buying from wholesalers. So before I ask that question, I want to kind of know what your business model is. What are you working on as in the real estate side? I know that you have and these links will be in the description. I know that you have an underwriting Zoom, so you're helping people out there. So I would imagine that that's a service side of
Hmm.
things, right? You're
Hmm.
doing underwriting, and then you also have the fireproof lending Zoom, which you're kind of helping both sides of the equation. The borrowers understand what is a deal for lenders, and then the lenders are coming in and being able to underwrite and figure out how to protect themselves as lenders. So I could see service there, but from your business side, what are you kind of working on there, and how are you
Yeah, this
getting
idea
service?
of
Yeah,
service is sort of an all-encompassing thing that
yeah,
'cause I keep figuring out little ways that it just makes sense through that filter.
mm,
And so it's like if you're talking about like, for example, service to like you can be of service to yourself and your family, right? By you like if you're trying to be healthier and you're eating well and you're exercising, right? That's of service to you, but it's
mm,
also service to your family, especially that's something that I think about a lot as my kids. And I grew up with a dad who was much older, and um, so I don't, I want to be around for as much as possible, right? And
yeah,
dominate them in sports or whatever we're doing for a little while longer, right? Like, uh, that won't last long. Both of my kids are awesome,
yeah. That's funny.
but so yeah, it kind of comes back to that, right? So you mentioned the two groups that I run. Yeah, upfront underwriting is one of them, and then
Oh
the
yeah,
other is fireproof private lending. And so yeah, both of them are it's just free time for me. I don't get paid. I don't do anything with that. It's just spaces for people to learn and ask what they think is a stupid question and feel like and not
yeah.
be made fun of or something. I don't know. Like just yeah, just a safe spaces for people to learn um and feel comfortable in.
I love
But in
that.
terms of my business model, like this goes back into that too, right? So if we're talking about service, it also goes back to this idea of servicing my partners, my equity
Mm,
partners, or my capital partners, or my operations manager, right? Making sure that I'm doing everything I can to make sure that she's taken care of. Um, and so yeah, all of that sort of encompassed by this idea.
okay.
Um, and right now I am a buyer, very specifically. In 2023, all I did was wholesale. And so I was negotiating contracts and structuring those contracts and getting them closed and then trying to find buyers. So um, certainly we did okay. It wasn't like we did fantastic with my partner at the time. But we did fine and we learned a lot. And at the end of 2023, we decided to split. We were just going in different directions and that was fine. And so then I pivoted to capital raising and finding deals and trying to put things into my portfolio. So I
Okay.
spent probably 3 months doing that, just capital raising, finding deals, but also capital raising. And I don't know, I raised somewhere in the vicinity of 3 to 4 million. I don't know quite, depending on on timing and who has money when and what they're
Oh
deployed.
yeah.
Um, and uh, so yeah, I have I put a couple properties into the portfolio in April, and now we're really just sort of cranking out on um, finding more and more creative deals in order to put into our portfolio for co-living and for midterm rentals. That's something that I really like. And then as we're gearing up for quarter 3, we just started looking for cash deals for flips and fix and holds. And
Okay.
then we're looking at trying to get it at a better price point so that we can then make a better, um, get a better deal on the other end of it. So,
Okay. Are there you just mentioned markets that you're looking in. Is it is it easy list or is there a lot of them?
it's probably easier to say what I'm not in.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I guess specifically right now, a lot of the deals are coming through in Texas and Florida. So I really like those particular markets.
Yeah.
But for co-living or pad split, if you want to think of it in terms of that name, although there's many different exits in co-living.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so we're in their core markets. So if we find something in Arizona, although that's a really hot market, Las Vegas, we have one in Baltimore.
Okay.
So yeah, it does any of those places, right? And one of the things that I really like is finding these ways of utilizing co-living to sort of help people. And so, like for example, we have one in Killeen, Texas, which is right next to the Fort Cavazos. And so we're looking to rent out to service members on a by room basis so that they get to keep some of their stipend, right? So they get a stipend to live off,
Ah,
and so it's a little bit cheaper. And
yeah.
so, and they get to pocket it, so which is
That's a great idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just love that. Love wherever that can fit in.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that's sort of what I'm working on right now. And then the cash deals right now we're only in Texas, probably going to be in Florida as well. Um, but we just partnered with a um, awesome operator in Texas. Her name is Nikki Hajek, and she
Oh,
is,
nice.
if you know her, she's
I just
awesome.
talked to her last week. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
So yep. So we're moving right along. Um,
So the properties that you have right now are midterm and co-living. Those are
mhm.
your kind of two hold strategies that you're doing right now.
Yep.
Okay. No
Um,
short term, no long term.
so that's a good question. I mean, short term and midterm can sort of, because it's already furnished, you could interchange it so long as the market is good for both.
Hmm.
Um, and so one of the strategies that we're looking at exploring or putting into place is um, like using midterm rentals for the hot market or the hot time for midterm rentals, and then switching it
Okay.
to short-term rentals for whenever that's the hot market. So
Oh,
like
interesting.
during the summertime, it'd be great to have like a short-term rental. You get a little bit more money, and then during the wintertime, maybe it's better to, switch
Okay.
short-term.
Yeah, just balance it out.
Yeah,
Interesting.
but the cost for us getting into short-term rentals and then finding, um, and being able to run them appropriately is, um, kind of a not a not a problem, but something to, that we're still sort of working out the system for.
Yeah.
And so
How has it been finding property managers in these different locations for the co-living?
love that you asked that question because we're actually in the process of starting our own virtual property management company
Oh,
because I don't find really great
yeah.
operators. And so yeah, so right now we're talking to a couple of people who might come on as our sort of, I don't know what to call them, head of property management, asset management, I don't know, but
Got to be fancier than that.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
asset manager is pretty good. I mean, I like that name.
Executive, there's got to be an executive or something. Yeah.
Executive property manager.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, yeah. So that's just to say that as we start to build out more of these things, having somebody in place who can again approach these things from this core value of service, right?
Mhm.
That's kind of where I'm headed at, because uh, I think everybody has horror stories about their property management companies, and you find good ones, but I think the majority of them, it seems like it's not great. So
Yeah. Well, it
um,
seems like the conversations that we've had is a lot of they don't want to do co-living. Like they don't want to have to manage, 3 to 7 people that don't know each other,
sure,
right? They want to do the least amount of work and collect their 10%, right, as possible.
yeah,
I love that you've seen a need for yourself, and I'm sure you've seen a need for other people as well. And
yeah,
I'm one of them that, oh, this is a void that we can fill, and with your service mindset, you're gonna be serving both the customer, the investor that you're serving, and then I don't know why I quoted that, but yeah,
customer,
and
whatever.
then the other customers or the people that are living in each little house. So yeah,
Well,
that's
that's
amazing.
that's exactly right, right? A lot of
Yeah.
people like that I keep hammering on this, but this idea of service really, really filters all the way down to, and I wouldn't even say filters. It's, very solidly in the tenant space, right? Making sure that people feel like wherever they're living in our properties are feeling like they're at home, right? It's
Hmm.
not that it's just a temporary space for them, but
Right.
can they can feel good in that space. But
Yeah.
um,
That's why that's kind of that reason is a little bit why I don't love the pad split model. Not to disparage it, like there, it is serving a need out
mhm,
there, but it it seems like these people are coming and going a little bit more frequently, and I want somebody that's going to stay in the house, and like you said, it's going to be their home, even if it's just for 6, 12 months, right? While they get on their feet, and they're like, they're just got out of college, and they've got a new
mhm,
job, and they don't need a big house, they don't need a an apartment, but they need a bed, and right, they don't have these things yet. They need a bed, and they need a place where they can eat their food and cook their food and all these things. And so
yeah,
we're providing that all-inclusive kind of home for them. So
sure.
yeah, so I
The
love that.
the tricky part though is because I kind of had to reframe this a little bit for myself, right? Is
Okay.
this idea that even with Pad Split, right, they don't do any management, right?
Right.
So but they're marketing powerhouse, right? So that's how they're filling places quickly,
Yeah.
in their core markets. Um, but this idea of like, and I've had my Pad Split rep, for example, we've had these conversations. It's like, so how do I make our property stand out in a
Mhm.
core market, right? How do we do that? Um, and it's this idea of, well, the amenities that you put into it, right? But also like there's other things that you can sort of help folks get acclimated to a co-living situation, right? So if you have somebody that's in the house and you're like, well, this person is really on time, I like everything about this person. They seem like they got, something together, elevate them to sort of a house manager, right?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
put them in charge of making sure everything gets done, or um, and then have them be a welcoming sort of person, as people get in. Because a lot of
Okay.
things, like I'm in Vermont, so I'm buying remotely. I can't go to all the properties.
Right.
So
Yeah.
um, so having somebody who can be like, welcome, this is great. I love to see you here.
Yeah.
Here's how the house works, here's how everything, here's
Mm.
where everything is. Here's your space, that kind of welcoming, uh, feel good moment, right? I think is ways to up that, retention rate, and also
Yeah.
having people feel like they're home. So
That's a
uh,
great idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Somebody that's gonna kind of, because they want the house to run well because they're living there. Right. And so bringing people in and keeping a friendly kind of upbeat attitude, or, an
yeah.
upbeat household is an awesome thing. Um, where are where are you going to end 2020? What are we, 2024? Where
What
we,
year are we in? Yeah.
what's your like kind of end of year goal here, as far as real estate goes?
Yeah, I started, I still have very specifically, you mentioned Growth Co. So I went through Growth Co. back in July, I think, of 2023. And so having that level of coaching really made a difference.
Mm,
And so I was very intentional when my partner and I decided to go into different, avenues. Um, I refocused in 2023, at November, December. And so I got very specific on what I wanted to do, which made things way better. Like I
yeah.
don't, you know, and I understand when people starting out, they don't quite know where yet to focus. But as I focused, and I was just like, okay, this is all I'm doing in 2024. And I laid out a plan. Okay, quarter one and quarter two. Quarter one, I'm going to do some capital raising. Quarter two, I'm going to start putting properties into the portfolio. Quarter three, I'm going to move into cash deals as we get the systems in place, right?
Okay.
So ending 2024, I still have a goal of putting 50 to 60 properties into the portfolio, and I I'm hoping that we're going to be able to do, again, the goal is to build up so that we are doing, um, you know, 4, 5, 6 projects of sort of flip projects uh, per month, right?
Okay.
So that's a big number. I understand what that number looks like, but but that would be great, right? Having multiple partners and having the capital so that we can continually do these things. That's really the goal. So
Yeah.
as we start 2025, we're just running, and now the new 10x goal for 2025 will come into play, right?
Yeah.
So
600 doors.
yeah, right, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, totally,
So
right.
the 4 to 5 a month that you're flipping, you're not actually going to be flipping them, right? You're just rehabbing them and then you're going to figure out a way to hold them.
Well, no, both, right?
Both.
Like
Okay.
I,
Okay.
I think I think if you're trying to think of that, like, because I know a lot of people like are, and I'm not kidding. That's a big goal. Like I'm not delusional in the sense that that's a big goal,
Yeah.
right? Um, but because I know flippers who are trying to do, you know, maybe 5, 6 a quarter, right? Like that makes sense. But I think it's more of the fact of like just getting them on the go, right? Making sure that we get them under contract, making sure that we have funding lined up, and
Mhm.
then 3, 6 months down the line, we're gonna have them completed, right? And then that just sort of follows each other, right?
Yeah.
But again, that's not alone, and you can't ever do this alone, right?
Right.
It's like it's not just with one partner, it's with several partners. And it's like, so long as we're still finding deals in different markets and being able to find the funding for those things, then then it seems reasonable.
Yeah.
If you're only in one market, that might be hard, but depending on the market. But
I think it's definitely it's not only reasonable, it's attainable and you're you're gonna get to 10 if you want to.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like every time I tell people that we want to buy 2 to 3 properties a week, that's our ultimate goal. Like,
I love it.
wait, what?
I love that.
Like
Yeah.
a lot of people are like, I want to buy 2 houses this year. Like, no,
Yeah.
no, no. We want to get to a week. And we're not even close yet.
Yeah.
I think we're really close. We just need to like we're just, like Jesse says, there's like one chess piece missing on the board or it's not in the right spot still. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
And
just
that's a goal really is 5 properties creatively per month into the portfolio. And
okay.
then with the flipping,
Yeah.
still have to, I don't have the KPIs yet to really tell you whether or not that, what the amount of properties that we're looking at to flip turn into holds, right? I don't have that yet. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. And those are all also from wholesalers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Wholesalers, Q4, we'll probably explore bringing on an acquisitions team. Not maybe not in-house, but at least being able to partner with an acquisitions team and have them
Oh, okay.
do that kind
Interesting.
of thing. Um, but again, still exploring that. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything right now is just wholesalers.
Yeah. Is there I'm curious to dive into the farm a little bit more just because of
Yeah, let's
what we
go.
talked about. But is there anything else real estate related you'd like to chat about?
Oh man. I mean, yeah, lots,
Is there
but
well yeah, I mean, yeah.
I
Is
can
there
talk about real estate all the time. Which is my wife has to say, okay,
yeah.
well,
Oh,
where's
that's
the
what I
focus
wanted
on
to ask. I know that she's involved. I think you mentioned in your little bio that we talked about that you're the farm hand and she's like the farm manager. I forget exactly how you put it. Does
Yeah.
she play a role in the real estate at all?
Not really, not at this point. I mean, uh she's fantastically smart, and so like
Yeah.
anything that she wanted to plug into, she could. And at one point, she worked for a big housing authority, and so doing contract management, doing like multi-million dollar,
Oh wow.
renovations and properties and stuff. So
Okay.
she could easily step in. But
Yeah.
the arrangement that we have right now is that we have switched, and she is running the farm. She's the farm manager.
Yeah.
I'm her helper, and so like she tells me what needs to get done, and then I go do it.
Yeah.
I switch gears and I go into real estate for the rest of the day. So
How does that look as far as time goes?
yep. So if you go through Jesse's thing, right, it comes out to this idea of like you only have so many so much time in a day, and you gotta utilize it as much as possible. So my day starts out early. I'm usually up at like 4:30. And then I'm either at the gym or doing my exercise, doing my workout. And then from there I come back, I eat something quick, I go out, I do farm work for I don't know, 3 hours, 2 hours,
Okay.
2 hours. And then and then that's about the time that uh, our actual crew gets here to do work, and so she takes over and she works with the crew. And so I'm usually just doing prep work for whatever she's doing for the day.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
At this point.
Yeah. And you're getting it out before the like kind of the heat of the day starts.
Well, the heat of the day really is the real estate, right? Like heat of the day is like me starting on the real estate
I
gig.
mean, sun, the
Yeah,
heat of the
yeah, I know.
day.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
was out there. I had the kids out there yesterday, I think, and it was 10 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, let's just pick these weeds right now. Within 5 minutes, I was like, okay, no, we gotta go do something else. The sun's just beating on you. Like,
yeah.
so, um, how do you become a community farmer?
Yeah. Um, Again, that's kind of a narrowing down of what you want to do because you could be a farmer on so many different levels, right?
Mhm.
You could go to the Midwest and work on, 4,000 acre farms and, whatever. Um, and so yeah, before we jump down, I mentioned, like I worked on farms that are small. Like my first farm that I ever worked on was like a micro 2 acre farm. Like that's the entirety of the farm. And then I've worked for giant, what New England giant uh, sort of farms, which are like 40 acres under cultivation, which is a lot under cultivation.
Yeah.
Um, that took a crew of, um, oh, I don't know, 15, 16, 17, you know, full-time farmers to
Wow.
and so and now we own a 50 acre farm, but we're very intensely cultivating only 2 acres. And so
Right.
and we turn over beds. We'll probably turn over every bed twice or one time, so we'll use it twice. So if you
Oh,
add it, that 4 acres becomes, or that 2 acres becomes 4 acres.
okay.
Um, and so and we're feeding, 70 to, yeah, we're feeding 70 families this year, very specifically. Before that, before real estate, we were also in a couple of farmers markets. So uh,
Okay.
that I don't even know how to calculate the number of people that we fed every week, but
Yeah.
yeah.
How does that, are these all people that like are within walking distance of you, or not walking distance, but like a golf cart, or is this?
No, no, no. I mean, a lot of them are like when um, well, sorry, let me answer your other question. The question that you asked
Oh
is
yeah,
talking
yeah, yeah,
about community farming, right?
yeah.
And the idea there was like through these different experiences, I realized that community is where we really wanted to be. And I really love the idea of a farm being like the hub of a community and
Mm.
having people like, and we have it all the time during our CSA program. So if folks don't know what a CSA is, it basically means that people buy in at the beginning of the season. And so they'll buy a share, and then for a set number of weeks, they get to pick up vegetables every week. And they don't have to pay for them because they already pay for them in the beginning of the season,
Interesting.
which gives farmers money for supplies and seeds and that kind of stuff. But we'll have people come to the CSA pickups and right, and they'll be like, "Oh, I haven't seen you forever," and like, "Oh, we've never met before. Nice to meet you." And then they become friends, and then they come every week, And so
Okay.
I really like that idea of that that sort of hub of a community. And
Yeah.
we'll put on classes, and we'll have people come by, and we'll have parties, and it's just I just really love that idea.
Mm.
But but yeah, it was a narrowing down of being able to be able to connect with the community more through small scale farming rather than large scale farming.
Yeah.
And
And
so
you mentioned that there's like I think you said 40 different foods that you are growing and cultivating.
yeah, we do about 30 to 40 different varieties of plants. So like
Okay.
if we're talking about like we'll grow like 3 different varieties of eggplants, for example, and
Okay.
we grow something like, we were just talking about tomatoes. I think we grow 6 different varieties of tomatoes and a
Just
couple of different things of, broccoli and carrots
I
and
didn't even know there were three different types of eggplant.
there are.
Yeah, interesting.
Uh,
Okay. So yeah, this is something that I've thought about as far as combining, like you're saying, the community and the real estate was putting together some sort of I don't like, yeah, I don't know what other than like a cohort almost, but a plot of houses that all live together and kind of all farm together, and all
Mm.
the food is kind of sustained. So this is interesting. So these people that come to, what's the CSA stand for?
Community supported agriculture.
It's community supported agriculture, and they can come. It sounds at first I thought it was like kind of at the beginning of the season they come and they buy a handful of weeks. But then you mentioned like they come every week.
Yep. So it could
Yeah.
be, you could have, there's different models, right?
Okay.
But the way that we do it is something called a free choice CSA. And so we have two share sizes. We have a small share, which will probably feed about two veggie eaters. And then we have a large share that will probably feed a family of four.
Okay.
And it's really about like the small share picks up something like five, six, 7 items per week. The large share is usually double or a little bit more than that.
Oh wow.
So, 12 to 14 items per week. And an item could be like a bunch of carrots or 5 pounds of tomatoes. That could be like one. Last year we had, not for nothing, we harvested every single harvest that we did of cucumbers, for example. We pulled in 900 pounds of cucumbers. And so uh, people were sick of cucumbers because we were just
Yeah.
take 10 pounds of cucumbers.
Oh, okay. So depending on the week, a a I don't what'd you call it? A size or a portion?
Yeah,
Uh,
share.
a share there, yeah.
Yeah.
So the share could be different one week than it is the next week.
Yeah, and we try to do that. Like we try to
Okay.
make sure that the variety of vegetables that are coming out, we try to have one or two new things every week. And when
Okay.
people pick up their, they get to, and when we call it a free choice, right? When we say you get 6 items, right? You could, if we only have, well, we don't, but let's say we only have 6 items, right? But you don't like one of them, we're not going to force you to take it, right? So, if you really wanted to take all 6 bunches of carrots, for example, you could do that. Like
Okay.
you can trade out and take more of one or the other, and
Yeah.
you can take what you love. And at one point we were giving out, last year we had a banner year for tomatoes too, so like um we were giving out like 10 pounds of tomatoes a week. And so
Wow.
and instead of somebody wanted, a couple people wanted to do some canning, so they took all of their share as tomatoes, so they took home
Okay.
pounds of tomatoes,
Yeah.
so put them up in,
We're gonna
cans,
have
put them in.
spaghetti and pizza and
Yeah,
yeah.
whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Oh, is there like is the CSA, it sounds the way you're using it is like a pretty a not global necessarily, but that's like a thing. That's not a Vermont thing.
Oh no, CSA programs. So you're in South Carolina. I
Hmm.
guarantee you have 4 CSAs around you. Uh,
Okay.
go look it up. You'll find them.
Yeah, just like South Carolina CSA
Oh man,
or even just like North Augusta.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. There you
Look
go.
specifically in your area. I bet you
Yeah.
have.
Okay.
So South Carolina is great for CSAs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a pretty standard thing that people small scale farming does. Um, and you know, one of the things that we have found is that, and it just goes back to this idea of service, I guess. But this thing where like there's people who were servicing the community, and back to your question, there are a lot of people who are around us. Like as soon as we landed in the spot, we did our market research and we figured out where a farm was needed, and we
Mm.
liked this place, and we chose this place. And so as soon as we landed, it was like an immediate response. Community came out, they loved it, they wanted it, so there are a lot of those people, but we have people from other towns that drive over and come to that thing too. But also like one of the things that we found is like a lot of people who are in CSA is you get so much food that you don't know what to do with it. And so like I don't know how to store radishes. I don't know how to, can up tomato, whatever. And so Christine, my wife, made this is in the process of making this amazing class to sort of that she's going to market to other CSAs so that
Okay.
they can come in and learn how to do what they are, how to store your vegetables and how
Well,
to,
Alex Hormozy thing.
yeah, oh yeah, totally,
Yeah,
right.
nice. I love
Uh
that.
she is she's awesome. So
Yeah.
um
Well, it sounds like you guys have a really good thing going on there. And we could talk. I could talk about the agriculture thing for a while, just because I am learning. Like literally every time I walk out to the tomato plants, I'm like, oh, what the heck is this new thing on here? Uh,
yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want to digress too much more from the real estate, but I
Just take a
appreciate.
picture of it, Nathaniel, and send it to me, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, I would just like, not to you specifically, but like, I take a picture, I put it on Instagram or Facebook, like, hey, what the heck is this?
Yeah,
And
you're
then
like,
people
oh,
come out like, oh, what? That's this. Like, somebody was like, with when the peaches started coming in, like, is this a peach? Because we just planted this tree a year ago,
yeah.
and we were not expecting peaches this year, and it was split. One side was like, no, or yes, those are peaches. Keep your eye out. And then the other side was like, no, your tree's too young. That's not going to be a peach yet. Like,
I'd be so, did you get peaches on your first year?
I mean, we've got five out there right now. I've had to take two off at this point because there was clearly a bug or something that got into them, and I still took a bite. I was like,
Well, of
it
course
was,
you are. You got
yeah,
to. You have
it's,
to. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they're like they're peaches. Yeah,
Uh,
so
Generally,
excited.
what we do with those, like if our apples have holes in them or something, we'll just cut them open and take out the worm and eat the rest of it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I just bit. It wasn't ripe yet, so it wasn't the best, but
Yeah,
you could tell it was going to be a juicy peach. But
all that.
I think they need a cup. I go out and feel them like they're just almost there. They're just like a little squishy, but not quite yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
fingers crossed we get a
we've
couple.
had peach trees before. The only thing you got to be careful of is deer will absolutely know it when they are ripe, and so
Okay.
you
Yeah,
gotta be ready.
we got a makeshift fence around it right now. So
Yeah.
as long as there's none above, which there aren't right now, above where the fence line is, the deer can't get to them. So
Okay, good. You got
yeah,
it. You
it's
got
the
it.
squirrels that I'm concerned about though too. But
Yeah.
we'll see what they do. The fence is really like flimsy, so I don't think that they're going to be able to. But we might see a squirrel stuck in there one day. I don't know. We'll see. But
Eating your peaches, but inside.
yeah, just like going crazy. They're all high on
Yeah.
sugar. Like, oh, I wanted to before we wrap here, I mentioned books that you
Yeah.
are interested in. You dropped The Gap in the Gain real soon, and I'm three-quarters of the way through it at this point. Like, this is one you got to go back and listen to a couple times and like listen to you with your wife and your friends, and
Yeah.
like that's a shareable book.
Oh
So,
man. Yeah.
are there any books that have kind of influenced you other than The Gap and the Gain and gotten you kind of to where you're at?
I mean, yeah, lots. So like I'm listening. I mean, there's a lot. And
Yeah.
so I've since 2023, I've really got into listening to books more so than like reading them. I still read them as well, like physically, um but I can consume mindset books really quickly. And so I have been doing that a lot. And
Okay.
since that's been the journey since 2023 is me really focusing on mindset and getting myself elevated enough to um get to the goals that I'm looking for. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of them. So a couple of things that I have really loved is Gap in the Gain. Anything by that author is fantastic. Um, so Gap in the Gain is really good. Failing Forward is one of my favorite ones. Atomic Habits is another really great one. Um, gosh, I have a bunch of them here too. Seven Habits of a Highly Effective
Oh yeah.
People, really great. I don't know if anybody knows, there's a YouTuber out there. His name is Ali Abdal. He's really great, and he wrote a book called Feel Good Productivity. Love that book. And The One Thing is another good one. Um, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's a fantastic book. I'm just trying to think of other things I have over here.
Oh, yeah.
Limitless by Jim Quick. That's a fantastic book. Um,
Are you
and
looking through your Audible
yeah,
right
I'm,
now?
I'm looking
Yeah,
at it
yeah.
right now. Yeah. Okay, let me get my
I'm gonna
Audible
cut you off. I gotta cut you off. Yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you more. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so lots of things. And like if you do like the Gap and the Gain and geez, I'm drawing a blank on this other one. Uh, Basically about hiring people and buying back your money, buying back your
Okay.
time.
Who
Um,
not who, not how.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Okay, who,
The
not how, yeah.
well, who not how is a great one too. Sorry, he has another one too. And then there's also 10x is easier than 2x, right?
Okay, yep,
Fantastic book. You
yeah,
read those things, those three. That's like a master class in, or a master's degree in business, right?
yeah,
Like getting your mindset ready and moving forward.
yeah.
And one of the things that I do a lot of the times that you can't really see because it's off camera, but I have a wall over here and it's just plastered with all the things that I find helpful as I'm going through the day or going through the week and something's hard or whatever. I take these little snippets out of these books and I write them down and I put them on my board, my wall, and so I have them there all the time.
Okay.
Really love that.
They're
Um,
like not sticky notes, but some sticky notes.
yeah, they're like it's like permanent marker on colored paper and taped to the
Okay.
wall, and they can't go
Yeah.
away. Yeah, so
Nice. I
and
love
just
that.
high enough that my 2-year-old can reach them. So
Yeah. And then it's gonna be three and picking them all off.
yeah,
It's just
right.
gonna be up on the ceiling. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, that'd be okay too. That would
Yeah,
work.
just like, oh, hey, yeah. Well, I appreciate you, Seth. Thank you for being here. Do you have any parting words? I know you dropped a lot already for, somebody that's just trying to get started. I don't want to put any more words in your mouth.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I think everybody goes through this idea of like shiny object syndrome, right? They get in, they think, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, right? I think probably as quick as you can sort of explore all of those things, and get to a focus, right? I think a lot of people don't understand that just because you're focusing on one thing now doesn't mean that you're not going to get to do all of the things that you want to do, right? And so focus for 90 days, focus for 6 months, focus for a year, right? Just get something going, make sure you have that down, and then you can obviously add more things as you go. So I think shiny object syndrome really is like, I don't want to miss out on anything, and realizing that you don't have to miss out on anything by focusing, right?
Yeah.
You're just getting good at one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Uh, and so I guess the other parting the sort of parting thought that I had too is like, again, part of the service that I'm doing is um, I am I am absolutely open for people to contact and get in touch with me. We'll have a meeting. We'll figure out what you where you are in your business, and I'm happy to help you get to the next level. So,
That's a
we're
good segue
great. Let's
because I
go.
forgot to ask up until now. How do people get in contact with you, Seth?
Ah, yeah, so you can reach out to me on my social. It's just at Seth Terramane, both Facebook and Instagram. Um, I don't know. You're welcome to also put. Well, this is on YouTube, right?
Mhm.
I will don't put my email down. Yeah, contact
Okay.
me through that, and
Yeah.
then I'm happy to give you all the info, and we can
Yeah.
jump on a call or something. So yeah,
And then hopefully by the time I put this description together, Seth has what's the underwriting one called?
upfront
Upfront.
underwriting. Yep,
Upfront underwriting. That's Tuesdays at 5 Eastern time.
5 Eastern. Yep,
And then the fireproof lending is Fridays, same time.
Thursdays
Oh,
at
dang it.
8 p.m.
Oh gosh,
Yeah,
okay. Thursdays
yeah.
at 8. Oh,
Um,
right, that's right. It was
Yeah,
conflicting with the
the
pre-proof.
underwriting is great. That's for it's geared towards lenders, it's geared towards wholesalers, it's geared towards investors in general, trying to figure out how to get people how to get wholesalers better assignment fees, how to make sure lenders are lending, confidently, and how to get speed to the deal, right? If you're an investor and trying to buy stuff. So
Yeah.
that's kind of that. And then the fireproof lending is for lenders looking to learn how to lend without getting burned. So
Fireproof. Nice.
fireproof. Yeah.
Yeah. And those
Uh,
links will be in the description. We'll put those there for anybody that's looking to join either of those. Probably the best way is to just get in contact with Seth on the Facebook and Instagram links